Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Hello? Hello and welcome! Hello! Hello? Hello, people, hello! Chat scroll. There we go. I can now read what you're saying. How are we doing? Yes. Welcome to the Noodle Gear Solid. MGS? Should I change the title, maybe? Who knows? Yes, part 3. Recaps are going to be important in this stream, I can imagine. Hello, miss. Thank you for the pandas. Noodle Gear Solid, indeed. Yes, that seems to be the way this is going. Yeah. How are we all doing? Are we well? I don't think I ask that at the beginning of streams enough anymore. Last time on Noodle Gear Solid. This happened. Yes, doing well. How am I? I'm okay. I'm a bit groggy, a bit under the weather, but you know, 'tis the season. 'Tis the season to be groggy. You only ask it 10 times in a stream, clearly not enough. I know, it's like 2 hours. 10 times is like, what, once every 12 minutes? That's hardly right, is it? Oh no, I'm fine, miss. I'm not at the stage where medicine is required. My mum's been laid out all day, bless her. She's got a proper bug. I'm just a bit, you know, meh. These things happen. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Let's make up for it by doing some really, really silly things to a serious game about espionage and nuclear disarmament. So yes, brief recap of the last couple of streams. Terrorists have taken over a nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island. The terrorists are a group of people called Foxhound. In order to take them down as a Black Ops thing, we have been hired. Our name is Noodle LeBox, and we have been hired by our old commander, Colonel Korn. Or Colonel, I guess, not Commander. Hello, Woobs, how you doing? To sort this whole thing out. And what we need to do is we need to rescue the 2 hostages that they've taken. The DARPA chief, whose name is... What's the name? It's written down somewhere. We'll find it. And the president of the Arms Tech Corporation, who I assume make weapons. Who were visiting at the time. So there was a coup with the soldiers there, and they sided with the Foxhound peoples, and they took over the place. And they say that if their demands are not met, which is that they want the remains of Big Boss, then they're going to launch a nuclear weapon. And our job is to save the hostages and work out whether or not they can do that. So far, we found a box, a sock, and some chaff. We found out that there was a Hind D helicopter here, which is a Russian gunship, which is an unusual thing to find in Alaska. And we've met a bunch of friends and a bunch of not friends. And last time, in particular, we did things. What did we do? Yes, we found the box and the ladle, which happens to also detect mines. And then we went down a lift and found some prisons. In prison number 1, we found large woman doing sit-ups. And in prison number 2, we found man with detachable head. We decided to pop down and talk to Jeff Headstrong, who is the first of the hostages, the DARPA chief, and discussed what's going on. And he says, oh no, they got all of my information, they tortured me, and I told them everything, and now they can launch a nuclear weapon. It's terrible. We need to work out a way of stopping them, and by we I mean you. So you need to find these special card keys that deactivate everything. Make sure you do that. Do you know of any other way of deactivating it? And we're like, no. So he goes, good, deactivate it, go on, off you go. And then he has a heart attack. Which I believe is on this frame. There it is. Dramatic reenactment. Just suspiciously just happens to have a heart attack. So yeah. That happens. He deserved it. I mean, he gave us a key card, which allows us to go down to the next floor in the basement. So Anyway, we try and get out of prison, and we succeed surprisingly easily. But then we're held up by somebody who is suspiciously the same height as the lady in the opposite prison, who appears to have stolen someone's uniform. Don't know who that could be. And some soldiers come in, and we realise that she's never actually fired a gun or killed anyone before. Well, she might have fired a gun, but she's not killed anyone. And we encourage her to shoot people, and she goes nuts and kills people, and then walks off. While she's walking off, we notice that she has a sway to her gait, as it were, that is worth zooming in on, apparently. And then she turns to say goodbye. A weird person in a gas mask floats up, and says, "Hi, I'm here. I'm in this game." And then we get a flashback to a scene that we can't have seen because we weren't there, but we get a flashback anyway to a room with people that we can't see, who say something along the lines of, you went too far with your torture, and look now, we'll never get any information. And say, oh no, he was resistant to psychic techniques, so there was nothing I could do, so on and so forth. Wait, I have an idea, and then the flashback ends. So that's what happened, which is why I drew this. Now our job is to go downstairs and use our newly acquired keycard to try and find the second hostage, the head of the Arms Tech Corporation. So let's do that. Right, I need to remember how to draw things. So what else can you do here? There's a couple of things you need to do in this part of the basement. What I will do. You're just picturing a person who makes robotic arms for a living now. I mean, we've already met prosthetic heads, so... Or people with prosthetic heads, I should say. So yeah, we're gonna just pop downstairs for a bit and see if we can't find this second hostage. Because it went so well the first time, why wouldn't we try and find the second one? You know? Gotta remember how to draw our good friend. Noodle the box. Yeah, so we were also given some advice by Detachable Head Friend, who was it called, Jeff Headstrong, whatever it's called. The DARPA chief, that the second of our hostages, or not our hostages, but the terrorist hostages, is being held down here, and that they've recently been doing some renovation work. And we need to look for walls that are a slightly different colour. Now, if you think that's a weird thing to say, you just wait. There's cyborgs in most of the games. I mean, yeah, if we fast forward to like Metal Gear Rising, then basically everyone's a robot to some extent. Trying to remember how to draw in general, but also this character. Very angular design in these. Is in keeping with the original design choice. Anyway, a couple of things that you notice when going down to the next basement is that it's essentially just a bunch of locked rooms, most of which you do not have the card key for. And in between those locked rooms, it's kind of like a storage area with like different levels of security for each door. All that sort of stuff. Like a home makeover show. If you're playing the game and colorblind, you can never notice where to go. No, the walls are much brighter at the point that is significant. So, it should be pretty straightforward to see. It's not that they're a different color, it's the... They've been recently plastered, so they're quite clear. Anyway. So the first thing we do, where's this stuff over here? Go away. Oh. Stuff down there, apparently. What? Okay, how about this? Just grab that. Cut it. Get rid of you. Oh, you. Paste you. Now try it. Yeah, that's better. That's the size of the drawing I just drew. Anyway. So the first thing you do is you notice that for some reason they've decided to install trapdoors in the floor. That when you stand on them, the floor just sort of collapses, and if you fall in, it's game over. They kind of click when you walk over them. And your solution to that is either to avoid them or to cartwheel over them. I don't know why your character cartwheels, but they do. So you just sort of up like that, and you're fine. Oh yeah, so if you want to change the color of your name in chat, type in !color followed by a space followed by the hex code of the color you want. Either with or without the hash. It shouldn't matter. Sorry. So if you can go to Google and it'll tell you, you know, you can get a color picker that will give you the hex code of the color you so desire. But it should update automatically. I've had to actually jiggle with the JavaScript to make it update automatically, but hopefully it'll work. You was doing an art post. What did you miss? Cartwheels. And recaps. That's about it. You expect Mr. to do tech stuff. I mean, hex codes shouldn't. If you've got an art program, I mean, look, this is the green I'm using at the moment. The hex code is down here. It's 315D40. You can do it like that. So yeah, there's traps in the basement that we're avoiding by cartwheeling. This is how you cartwheel. Don't worry about it. It's not really a cartwheel. It's just a front somersault. Cartwheel, I think you touch the floor with your hands, don't you? Which would be a bit pointless in a situation where the floor isn't there. But yeah. Cartwheels into trap, yes. Yeah, so there's that. That's the thing. That's the thing that you can find in this particular place. Another thing you can find, which I'm going to point out now. You don't necessarily know right now, but it's I think important. It'll be important later, so I'll point it out now. I'm gonna have to draw a gun. My apologies. Like I said, there's lots of kind of storage rooms, some of which you can get in, some of which you can't. How do gun? How? Like that, isn't it? Like a kind of handly thing, and then there's like a trigger or whatever. This is on like a stand. What I'm doing now isn't strictly speaking in the game, but it makes more sense than what actually does happen in the game. But so, sure. So you can see a gun, which is unsurprising in a military base. I mean, it's not a military. Well, I suppose it is. It's a base where military people are. The genome soldiers that have been guarding this place. More on that later. How do? And there's like. Yeah, so you see a sniper rifle in one of these places. Unfortunately, you can't get it. It's behind a level of security you don't have. You have a level 1 card. I think it needs like a level 6 or something like that. So you can see it's there, but you can't get to it. Oh no, shame. That looks like a sniper rifle, right? Kind of. Probably. You get the gist. Maybe make the scope connection a bit chunkier. That should work, shouldn't it? Why didn't that work? Unless it did work, in which case that's the colour you chose. Hang on, let me just look this up quickly, make sure it's working. Or not. Talk amongst yourselves. Where's this? This is here. Things might pop up, don't mind me. Oh no, it changed it. Could be yellow. It is yellow, yeah. It did change it. It only works on screen. It's not. It doesn't work in chat window. Yeah. You forgot to look where it changes. I think it was yellow already. I can't remember what color I set it to, but you know. You've had an evening. Well, hopefully, you know. You might be orange already. Yeah, I think you're orange. I tried to set the people who have their own colors in Discord. I tried to set it to that automatically. So you do have defaults, but I thought I'd give you the option to change if you wanted to, for whatever circumstance. Anyway, there's a sniper rifle, but you can't get it because of this high security door. It's going to cycle through all the yellows. You can cycle through as many as you wish. That's a bit big. So yes, this may or may not be important later. By which I mean it's going to be important later. Let's just... write that on there. So yes, and the other things you find are these bits of wall that I mentioned before, which is sort of very poorly sort of plastered over. I assume they've just done it and then they're going to paint over it at some point later. But, these things happen, which kind of begs various questions when we get to that point, but for now, we'll just say they're plastering over bits of wall. They're restructuring this place, probably to hide stuff or whatever. And what you have, what you can also find in one of these rooms, which you can open, auto saving, there we go. I think this is actually the music that plays in this area. Not sure. We have our sock. This is going to come in handy later. And then there's like some weird tactical clothing. Anyway, what we have, and what we have found here that will allow us to get through these newly plastered walls. What would you use to get through new plaster? Kick. It's probably a good idea. Probably quite soft. Like they've been, I don't know how long they've been here, like a day, maybe, possibly a bit more. So it can't have gone too hard too quickly. throw a guard through it. I mean, that'll probably alert more guards, I imagine. I wonder if you can drop guards into the pits. I don't know, that's a thing, probably. But no, what our clever noodle finds is a few blocks of a thing called C4. Because if throwing a guard through a wall was going to alert other guards, plastic explosive is going to be the stealthy option. I don't know what C4 looks like, so let's put some wires on it. And a blinking light. Yes, way less suspicious, absolutely. So you stick that to the wall, and it goes kablooey, and you make your way in. And you can explore more places. There's stealth explosions you've heard about. Yes, that's the chaff. The chaff explodes and then confuses cameras, because high-tech cameras are not used to seeing farm material. Right, so reacting to the explosion. So it's that bit of hair. Yeah. So you find your plastic explosive, you blow up a few walls. Which, you know, the guards here, they have mixed skills. They can notice your footprints, but they don't notice explosion. He was standing too close to the explosion. Look, Noodle knows what he's doing. He also knows it'll probably hurt, but he does know. That's the important thing. Knowing is half the battle. All the guards are deaf, they're something. They're genetically engineered soldiers, so they might have got something wrong. Who knows? Yeah. So, yes, you blow up your way through a few walls. Oh, no, that doesn't answer a question yet. Primarily because you don't have access to places that you need card keys for. You've only got a level 1 card key. Quite why they gave a VIP a really crappy card key, I don't know, but they did. So you blow up the walls instead and work your way around. And you find your way into a room. No, that's not the right one. So, I don't know what that is. Layers. And you find your way into a room. This room has a few interesting structural details, which I will now attempt to draw. This is a pillar. There's probably some crossbars or some sort of mechanical thing going on, I don't know. This is a very sort of industrial part of the building. There's no finery here. So there's a pillar. Should have just used a straight line saw, shouldn't I? Save a bit of time. Pillar. Don't mind perspective. Okay, so put that there, and then that. Then grab this, and then go like that. Go. Boom, 2 pillars. Roughly in perspective. There. And do this. Realise this is all far too close together. Or far apart, I should say. This is important. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Good, right. Didn't think this would be an architecture stream, but here we go. Right, and then in the middle you have another one. Which obviously from head on just sort of looks like a rectangle. That's fine, don't worry about it. There's a sticker. It's Akiro. Hello. Yeah, don't mind me. It's fine. So that would be there. Ooh, so yeah, there's okay. Something. Attached to this pillar is a man. It's a big old fellow. Hello, Kiro. What so far you have missed somersaulting over pits, discovering there's a sniper rifle we can't get, and blowing up walls. We're now in a room. I don't really know how to draw this man, so let's just put a big old coat. Look, it's labelled Chekhov's Do Not Touch. I'm just going to give him a long coat. Can't be bothered to draw anything else. Doesn't really matter all that much. Look at this wonderful character design that I've got here. Exactly, well, yeah, I wanted to get the architecture correct. So how do you draw someone like this? I don't know. He looks a bit like Churchill. Not the dog. So they've got sort of jowls. Big old nose. Looking a bit pensive. Just eyebrows so saggy that there are no eyes to be seen, as is our tradition. Big old potato head. He's probably got a suit on underneath, I imagine. Yeah, most of everything else doesn't really matter all that much. What sort of matters is the fact that they're sort of covered in wires. And that those wires are attached to the pillars. You see now roughly why I wanted to get this right. Which in and of itself is somewhat innocuous, were it not for the fact that those wires themselves are attached to some C4. So this hostage ain't moving anywhere. Etc, etc. There's another one here. There's one here. There's probably one on his head. Why not? Yeah, so there's lots of traps going around here. It's almost as if they predicted somebody to come along and Try and break this person out. You just remembered Fat Man, yes. You're gonna go, may as well go out with a bang, yes. So you approach and go, I know this person. This is one of the hostages. It's the president of Arms Tech. Feel free to name them. And you start walking towards them to go, hey, I'll let you out. And then he goes, stop, you're an idiot. Look at bombs. There are many bombs. I'm covered in wires. Are you blind? To which you respond, none of us have eyes. That's an insensitive question. Carl 4. Arms Tech president, Baker? I think the word Baker's involved. But I'll go with Carl 4. Probably got some wrapped around his arms as well. Don't move, old man! Baker was part of it. I don't know the specifics. I just seem to remember the phrase President Baker being said. He's the president of Arms Tech, don't you know? So this is Carl 4. It was one of those things where one of his direct antecedents. Was it descendant? I never remember which way it is. One of his relatives was Carl, then there was Carl Jr., then there was Carl III, and rather than Carl IV, they just shortened it to Carl IV. So, yeah. He's in a bit of a pickle. So you say, well, I mean, I'm sure I can find a way out of this. I can, give me a bit of time. I can get this C4, disarm it, so on and so forth. Descend, fall down. Yes, but it depends on which way you draw the tree. Time isn't up or down. So, I'm assuming descendants is forward in time. But, it's like when people say, time, you move forward in time and then back in time. But if you bring something forwards, you're bringing it back. If that makes sense? Like if you, we'll bring those plans forward. No, you're bringing them back because they're sooner to now, but it's in the future. So if it's sooner to now, you're taking it back in time, but you're calling it forward. Terminology with time is inconsistent. That's what I'm trying to say. This is irrelevant. This man's strapped to lots of bombs. So you go and say, hey, I'll get you out. I can defuse these things. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And then you hear a voice that says, actually, you should probably worry about this. Because you're not alone and you haven't got time to defuse bombs. I now have to draw this person. So let's do that. Let's peek out from behind the pillar. I don't know how I'm going to make this have no eyes. Why did I do this? Something to do with the moustache, maybe? I don't know, does the moustache go up and cover the eyes? There's so many ways I can make it ridiculous. He's got like a kind of... Maybe a cowboy hat? It kind of fits. You just got it sort of perpetually over. Oh, but now I have to draw a cowboy hat. I hate the tops of cowboy hats. Why do they work? How do they work? I don't know how they work. You've doomed me, Kira. You've doomed me. It's bad enough the Pringle shape. Then you've got to do the top bit. Yeah, I know. From lots of different angles. This is a recurring character, I would like to point out. He has a duster coat and spurs. Yeah, I mean, it's... yeah. This guy is... I'd like to point out, probably at this particular point in time. I've also got to draw revolvers. How am I going to do that? I don't know. I don't know what guns do. This guy likes revolvers.
Howdy, partner.
Howdy, partner, indeed. So it's like... Let's look at kind of barrel there, right? I don't know how guns work. Why did I choose to draw a game about guns? So like... Spinning that right round. Look, if the game was going to give me somebody who spins revolvers, and by the way, I'm not exaggerating when I say spins revolvers. He does tricks. Part of his introduction is to just do some revolver tricks. This has got sort of quite long. Very straight here, some kind of greasy almost. He looks too cool with a cowboy hat. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't look as haggard as he's probably supposed to. This McCree. Look, you get to name characters. I'm not gonna... I don't know whether he has the long coat, but he can have a long coat. I feel like you were disappointed, Karina, if you called this one McCree. Is McCree a thing? I don't know what this is. Mad Dog McCree? He's in Overwatch? Ah, okay. That's a game, apparently. He wears a bandolier, I remember that. What else? Shirt, probably? It's like probably one of those Texan things. A big old belt. It's like, what does Texas look like? Something like that. That's a maple leaf. He's Canadian. Doesn't matter. He just took the gunslinger trope and went wild. So yeah, and he introduces himself. He says, "Howdy." He doesn't say howdy, but he might as well. What are you doing with my hostage? My name is so on and so forth. He's Russian. I know. Well, is he I don't know whether he's Russian. He certainly worked for the Russians. Because he does go into detail about that. But I know this is a weird character. Remember, this game was made in Japan. Their understanding of American culture is about as good as our understanding of Japanese culture. Spoilers. Look, it doesn't matter that much. Anyway, he pops in, out of perspective. Oh, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I wish I didn't, but I get it. Took me a while. Took me too long. You know who his parents are? You know he lived in Russia a long time. See, I've forgotten that stuff. Russia is the old west of Asia. Maybe? Is that a way of thinking about it? He makes no sense. It's like he has clearly an American accent. Not like a kind of southern Texan accent. It's gruff as you expect the character to be, but not like... Something more feral than Texan is definitely a Slav. It's yeah, I don't really know what to make. Anyway, what's the character's name? Some running on up there. Also, he's got 4 fingers. Snake doesn't. Slap. Regardless of this, whatever their name is, welcome to your first boss fight, which takes place around this guy. Don't step in the middle or everything blows up. This is actually a really janky boss fight. The accent's even more American in the 3rd game, but they kind of hand-waved that away by saying everyone was speaking Russian even though they actually weren't. I completely forgotten about that. Just for the purposes of understanding, the 3rd game is a prequel, so no spoilers. Or it won't contain spoilers for the end of this game is what I mean. So we can sort of talk about stuff in that, and it's fine, don't worry. So when we say something happens in the 3rd game and it has this character, it's in the past. So. What? You're now thinking about a character from one of the Star Kid musicals called McDoon, who makes the ladies McSwoon. These they sound like they're not taking this seriously. You have a sock. With which you must defeat this person, which is fine because the sock's probably not going to set off the bombs. So, you know, if you were thinking ahead, fine. Yee, and you cannot stress this enough. Oh. It doesn't quite work with my accent. Because by the time I've said you cannot stress this enough, you've probably forgotten what I said at the beginning, and then I just suddenly say, whore. Doesn't quite have the same effect. Did we, if you kill this character in the 3rd game, you get a time paradox. Yes, that's the thing with the prequels.
You're...
What? I didn't even recognise what that was supposed to be. I don't know what we expected. I don't know, maybe it's a British thing, who knows. So yeah, you have a boss fight, which is very awkward and clumsy. Not the best part of the game. Particularly given that you haven't actually needed to use first-person shooting up until that point, I don't think. And now you do. Tassels, good point, thank you, I always forget. You also need to make sure they don't touch the wires, because they will set it off. These things are deadly. So not only have you got to worry about where you step in, but you've got to worry about where you have stepped and now it's going to turn the tassels. Terrible. Yeah, so you do this. You have your shootout, and he's like, revolver is the only weapon for a true fighter. I got 6 shots, more than enough to kill you. Like that. Gunfight in a closed space while avoiding wires is tricky. It is, yeah. He's a bit obsessed with his revolvers. He says like 6 shots more than enough to take you down, and then he reloads a lot during the fight, so I don't know. This is how I'm going to voice this character for the rest of the game. Which is annoying, because he says a lot of quite crucial dialogue. But yeah, he has a bit of a shot, shooty. We need a name. What's the name? He canonically does have a gruff voice. Yeah. but it is much clearer than that. The voice actor for this character is pretty good. So the voice actors in this game are all pretty good. Like, kudos to Konami for actually hiring good voice actors instead of subtitles. Sure. Were you about to say McShooty? McShooty? For those of you who wish to know what that means, it means my bad dub. Yes, I do want to do, like, one of the things I like Foley. I'm a big fan of Foley and sound effects and things like that. And I've had saved on my computer the opening cinematic to Dark Souls because I want to see if I can reconstruct sort of the Foley for it from scratch without reference. I wonder if we could do that for like Metal Gear Solid, but every character's like remember that character. What should his name be? I mean, I will, at the risk of being spoilery, this person is rather important. They are a member of the terrorist organization. And as such, they have a code name that they give you. So the code name can be, well, I don't. Do you ever learn their real name? Probably in the third one. Do you love it when they include things like confused grumble in the subtitles? Yes. Closed captions. Give me all of them. For his real name for reference. I think so. I'll give you a clue. The name that they use in the game definitely references guns. Because he's a bit obsessed. A version of it, at least? You know, it's probably one bandolier is not sufficient. They've probably got more bullets in and around his hat. Has he got like an Australian hat, but it's bullets? Or does that go against the American thing? Winchester. I like the name Winchester. It's a pub, you know. The gun doesn't work. You went for Winchester and you were just going to say bang. I mean, both of those are further removed from the subtlety of the original. Like, revolving meerkat. Spinning meerkat. Yeah, a lot of them are have an animal in their name, as indeed we do, because we are Noodle. And there is Soggy Worm, whatever it's called, wet worm, was it? Worm Labag, or Wet Noodle. That's the one. He sells insurance when work is slow. I love the idea that this is part-time insurance broker. Door to door, doesn't knock, just shoots the lock. Bullet Ant? Oh, that's a good one. I like Bullet Ant. Oh, should we go with Bullet Ant? We can have the real name as well. It's like Bang Winchester, also known as Bullet Ant. Which in my accent is sort of slightly tricky. I drop the T in both bullet and ant. Bullet Ant. Okay, so we've got Bang Winchester. AKA Bullet Ant. Which I will say is infinitely more creative than the actual name. I mean, to be fair, they at least chose a somewhat obscure animal for their name, but this one's more clever. So, yes, we... Sorry, I've just realised what I got to draw next. He has fewer fingers on this hand. It's going to be less of a problem soon. So, yes, you have a fight. Both of you shoot each other more than a normal human should probably be able to survive. No, it's fine, don't worry about it. For the sake of convenience, I will just do that. But you finally defeat him. He's a bit of an old man. He's not in his prime anymore. His hair's grey, I should point that out. And he probably says something to mock you or something in some sort of cutscene. Cutscene being the operative word. Because then his hand flies off. So much for the gunsling. At least I don't have to draw spinning guns. I know we've had detachable heads at this point, but I just want to point out that this is not something the character expected to happen. But to say you love the pose you did, hand was in a good position. I didn't plan it through. I just knew I had to have the spinning gun, so it just kind of worked out. Yeah. So he was not expecting it. Nobody was expecting it. There's a lot of swishing sounds and a lot of flashing lights, and all of a sudden there's a hand flying through the air. I can't remember precisely what happens now. This is the bit where I don't know how much information I can give away. I imagine not a lot, so I'm going to draw the thing that caused this to happen. You are confusion. That's fine. How do you draw this? You see the I know I'm pretty sure you see the thing. I just don't know whether or not it relays any other information than just seeing it. Let's do. Why did I choose to pose like this? It's weird. For once, construction lines actually pretty helpful. What have I just drawn? Okay, so there's how I don't know how you draw things. So as you can see, humanoid, at the very least. The thing you should probably most important to note is the sword. Probably a bit long, but we'll go with it. Lucianosaurus. I mean, you get to name the character at some point. If you can call it a character, we don't know what it is yet. What is this pose? This is definitely how if it's not, is it a person? We don't know if this is a person. It's probably a robot. Don't worry about it. Hello from not work. I hope you're doing all right. Okay. How do just a thing that is probably like some. Something like that. I don't know. It's from memory. Look at this. I mean, it can get into some weird positions, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. That's pretty good to you from your memory. I mean, that's all that matters, right? Right? Doesn't matter whether it's actually accurate, whether we just think it is. It's fine. This character's case is understandable. I mean, I imagine they can get into some very weird positions. And probably choose to. Anyway, so this weird, impulsively posed thing, humanoid thing, comes crashing into the party and cutting people's hands off. Marginally better. Yeah, this is why I don't do traditional art. Because you can't lasso. Or lasso. Lasso? Graham Lasso. You can't Graham Lasso. It looks good? Fair enough. We'll go with it. So yeah, this happens after your gunfight. He brought a sword to a gunfight, and it worked. Because this guy doesn't have a hand anymore. You're not a cowboy, can't function without the lasso. No. I have a bandolier of spare nibs. So yeah, they come in, cut off this person's hand, and then just for good measure, also decide to cut up these wires, which doesn't necessarily help the situation, because it causes a lot of these things to explode. How do draw explode? Nope. Let's just let it off some steam. Explode, explode. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Learn to draw explosions. Next thing on list. Probably quite useful for this game. Anyway, big bangs, explosions. The C4s just fart a little and then everything's fine. I mean, the person in the middle does survive, so this one clearly didn't have much of an impact. Little toot. That was a special one. What is fart but a digestive explosion? I mean, there's a philosophy in there somewhere. So yeah, this is a busy scene. Just for a moment, I'm just gonna think back to that. We're gonna be needing this drawing a lot. I really should render it properly. Oh, we're an hour in. So, back to this. So, the thing with the sword buggers off. I don't think it says anything, but everyone else goes, "What on earth is this?" These games are what? Yes, they are. Rather, this is why I wanted to do it. So, the thing with the sword buggers off. The guy that used to have a gun also buggers off because he's like, I've had enough of this. I've lost one hand. I'm not gonna. You still need to do yoga. Have good yogas. So yeah, what was his name? Bullet Ant. Also leaves. Does he take his hand with him? I don't know. I'm guessing the fact that I don't know probably doesn't matter. I suppose for the purposes of the next game, let's say he doesn't. Probably takes his gun though, probably. He's got lots of guns, he doesn't need that one. It's fine. His whole bunk's full of guns. He sleeps on a bed of guns. Oh, he does? Oh, okay, fair enough. You just watched the cutscene. Oh, okay, fair enough. You cheating! You cheating! Or are you the examiner? Oh dear, that's a bit awkward. So you forgot how mad it is. This game is strange. So this didn't really go as anybody planned.
My
Hello.
sons, attack the gates.
Carrington TV. Thank you for the host. This is going to take some explaining, isn't it? Hello. Thank you very much. How are we all doing? What a few friends. Hope you don't mind. Not at all. I may need to explain some things, but beyond that.
My sons, attack the gates.
Desire XD, thank you also for hosting. What am I doing? This is part 3 of me attempting to draw, very loosely, the plot of Metal Gear Solid from memory, and attempt to explain the game. We've done it with Final Fantasy VII, also the Forest of Doom, which is a choose your own adventure thing, and now we're trying with Metal Gear Solid. So this game's mental and fun. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Anyway. So yeah. Yes, and I like to let my chats make things up as we go along. This is not, I mean, our main character is wielding a sock right now. So it's not, if you're looking for a 100% accurate description of the game, maybe not perfect. You do those all the time, Fighting Fantasy Forever. Yeah, I let the chat play the game and then I drew their playthrough, which was fun.
That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks.
Mike Rains 1013, thank you very much for following. I do feel like I need to give a brief description of what's happened so far. This scene in particular is a bit of a mess. A lot just happened. It's loose and fun. Yes, we're just sort of messing around. All of the characters have different names. If you're used to the original, chat renames everyone because it's a tradition at this point. The socks in the to be announced remaster, it's fine. Yes, it's gives you infinite ammo. Unfortunately, none of the ammo works. It's all chaff. So basic overview: terrorists have taken over a nuclear disposal facility. They claim they can launch a nuke from it, even though there aren't actual nuke launching things at this facility, supposedly. They've also taken a couple of hostages. We, Noodle the Box, for that is our name, have been charged with trying to help the hostages and work out whether or not they actually can set and launch a nuclear weapon. We were, just very quickly go through the things that we've done over the last couple of weeks. We were sent in a torpedo. So, yes, we were sent in a torpedo, underwater. We arrived at the facility where we saw somebody with very fluffy hair called Wet Noodle, or Wormlebag. The chat chooses names, don't worry about it. And we got up to the top, we took off our scuba gear, and we found that there was a Russian attack helicopter, Hind D, there, which is a bit weird, because this is in Alaska, and that's not supposed to happen. This is Cold War. So we also found a sock and some chaff. For those of you who have played the game, you can probably make the extrapolation as to what these are supposed to be. So yeah, we then rendezvoused with our informants. There's Colonel Cobb, who is in charge of this mission. Who else? There's Dr. Varlan, SMRT, who is our sort of scientific officer, as it were, the one who gave us sort of nanomachine injections so that we can have this codec and see radar stuff and so on and so forth. There's Dr. Baby, SMRT. No one has eyes. This is another thing we did for some reason. It's like a censorship thing, don't worry about it. And she's our sort of intelligence officer, person in charge of that. We were also contacted by Master C Glasses, Convenient Glasses, who was our old protege. No, we were his old protege. He used to train us or something like that. He's now training Huskies. I don't know what that says about us. And he's agreed to help. He got our number and has agreed to help. So yeah, we've got a lot of people backing us up. So we wriggled through the vents and got into the facility. So we got into the facility, we found... Oops, that's... Where's that? Okay, anyway, we found the prison. One of the hostages was in there, so we decided to say hello. The hostage's head detaches, don't worry about that. How long did each of these sketches take? Well, I've just gone through the first stream. We'll now do the second stream. So we found one of the hostages. He explained that he's let all his information out under torture, and that he is imploring us to try and... They can launch a nuclear weapon, and we need to stop them. There are some key cards that we need to get in order to stop it, and then he has a heart attack and dies. Conveniently. We then attempt to leave and find that somebody has stolen a guard's uniform that is pretending to be a guard and isn't. But they help us escape by shooting lots of other guards. This is the person whose uniform they took. As they're running away, we notice that they have a particular gait. In particular, the rotation of their posterior is noticeable. And as they turn around to say goodbye, we see somebody in a gas mask floating above them, which is a bit strange. And then our character does this, which is going to be the logo of this series. That's that stream. We had a power cut in that one, so we didn't get as much done as we'd like. Then we went downstairs, jumped over some pits, found a sniper rifle we can't use, and blew some holes in a wall. And then this happened. We found the second hostage, wrapped up in some wires, all wrapped up to some explosives. He was being kept by this person, Bang Winchester, also known as Bullet Ant, who was spinning a gun. His hand was attached at the time. And then we had a fight with him with his gun and us with our sock. And then towards the end of the fight, this thing came in, cut her arm off, cut all these wires, and then everything exploded. A lot happened at once. So let's carry on and try and explain the aftermath of this. That's very nutshell explanation. So yes. Apologies for the anatomy. Swordman leaves. One-handed man leaves with the other hand, presumably, in tow. Carl 4 is still alive, second hostage. So we drag him over to the side of the room and we have a little discussion about what just happened. So let's try that. He's mostly coat. Don't worry about it. Thank you very much for the sticker. Always try and find ways of stylizing a character so that I don't actually have to draw a lot. Didn't work in the case of the swordsman. Ah, thank you for the... Oops, smoosh. There they go. Thank you for the fairy. Very kind of you. And thank you again for the raid. That's... Or the host. Was it a raid? Host? I lose track of these things. After watching the cutscene, you're very confused how guy in the middle survived. So am I. I don't know how. Like, again, my only explanation is that the one that was directly on his head didn't go off very strongly. That's my guess. There's a lot of things that don't quite make sense in this game. This will be certainly not the last. Don't worry about it. What just happened and don't worry about it are the themes of the stream. Absolutely. Okay, so they've got this guy here. And he basically says, you know, he confirms a lot of the things that were being said by Headstrong before he had a heart attack. That yes, theoretically they do have the means to launch a nuclear weapon. When probed as to precisely how they have the means to launch a nuclear weapon, the magical words pop up. Noodle gear. Are we going to go with noodle gear? Why not? Our character is Noodle a Box. We'll keep the theme going. And your character instantly recognizes the term noodle gear. when, because it's a A thing that's been around for a while.
That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks.
Organ kills evil. Orgone kills evil? Thank you for following. That's very good. You see how he lived? He gets cut down before it goes off. I mean, he's still in the middle of 4 pillars covered in explosives. He does get cut down, which is why he cuts the wires and doesn't just stab the explosive. I imagine stabbing at C4 probably wouldn't do much. They're sort of designed not to explode. Not to be quite so volatile. I think they need a blasting cap or something. I don't know. Not my area. Anyway, she's probably got his knees up under this somewhere. There's a body in here somewhere, don't worry about it. It's fine. If hiding under desks protects from nukes, being on the floor saves you from C4. Yes, protect and survive. Don't say anything. She's so alarmed. She says nothing. Yeah, so, yeah, and he confirms, yes, they do have the capability of launching a nuclear weapon. They have access to Noodle Gear. Noodle Gear was a project that had been around for a while. Liver spots, why not? But was theoretically scrapped a while ago after a bunch of armaments agreements between America and Russia and all these sorts of things. But they've been secretly working on it at this base because they didn't want anyone to know. This is supposed to be just a nuclear disposal facility, but they've been trying to work on this secret military project for a while, which is why the Arms Tech president was here, because he's interested in selling this thing. Being on the floor saves you from C4, flows well. Yeah. Also, yes, hello Crow, how you doing? Are you well? Some stuff's happened. Do you know this game, Crow? If so, I can probably skip the explanation, but we've just had a lot of friends visit and I've had to explain the whole thing again. You're just dragging yourself out of bed. What? Well, I hope the day is wonderful and productive and excellent. You know nothing about this game. Right, well, very quick explanation. We just went downstairs, avoided some traps, found a sniper rifle we can't use, and then all this happened. We found the second hostage, covered in explosives. We fought somebody with a revolver called Bullet Ant, also known as Bang Winchester. When the fight ended, somebody with a sword came in, chopped off his hand, chopped all these things and blew them all up, and now we are discussing the consequences. Carl 4 is the name of this character. Well, it's almost as if I shouldn't have spent an hour explaining all this. Right, so yeah, we are discussing this with the Arms Tech president and discussing what we should do now. And we have been informed that the Arms Tech president is the one with the key cards to deactivate the nuclear launch facility, the nuclear launch device, which is we now know to be Noodle Gear. I think there was a chibi one, wasn't it? Carl 4? Bullet Ant was Oobs, I think. Some good naming going on, good names. So we get the... So this is not our first run-in, I don't think, with the Noodle Gear project. It's been a long, ongoing thing, but this is the latest development in it. That they're still working on it in secret. And now we have to deal with the consequences of that, because some nefarious forces have taken it over. You will discover that this game has quite a strong sort of nuclear disarmament message in it. Noodle Gear! Another example of Noodle being very articulate. Another thing. Anatomy. I've never bothered to learn you, and I really, really should. Anyway, yes, so he explains all these things, and we say, okay, right, that's fine. Whatever. We're here to stop it now, because obviously, you know. our orders were to find out whether or not they could launch something, and if so, stop them. So we've got to do that now. Give us the key card, and everything will be fine, and we can sort this out. Try and work out how to use the key card to actually stop this all going off. To which our friend Carl 4 says, "Oh, I gave the key card away. Because let's face it, if they found it on me and they found the only way to deactivate this thing, then they were gonna take it away from me. So I had to make sure it wasn't on me. You know, so I'd have to give it to someone else." And you say, well, who did you give it to? There was one soldier in the entire base who did not follow along with the coup. They threw her in prison. I gave it to her. To which your response is, "I think I know who you're on about. Was she 8.5 foot tall?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's the one. She's inconspicuous. That's why I gave it to her." Is this the point where we find out who this character is? I think it must be, mustn't it? Yeah, okay. He relays that he knows who you're working for. That he knows, you know, Colonel Korn probably set all this up and all that sort of stuff. Thank you very much, that's very kind of you. I'm just trying desperately to get something that makes sense in a short space of time. Don't mind the anatomy or perspective, it's fine. What was I saying? Yes, so he relays that he knows that Colonel Korn probably sent you. He knows all about these sorts of black ops things and so on and so forth. And he remarks that, by pure coincidence, the strange 8.5 foot tall female soldier at this base is Colonel Korn's niece. So yeah, that's the thing. Feel free to name them. This is where we do discover their name. And that we should probably find them if we want A, the card key, and B, our Commander-in-Chief's niece not to be killed by terrorists. Tish. So yeah, and then you get a montage of him talking about nuclear proliferation and the arms companies are just in it for money and all these sorts of things. Baby corn. That happens. Yeah, you get. I can't remember the specific details of it. I did recently watch the 4-hour montage of all the cutscenes in this game. And I explicitly sat down and watched that to go, okay, I should probably remember the details of this, and I have forgotten the details of it, so that's how important it is. Cornelia, I like that. Cornelia Korn. Korn for short. You see, it's a clever nickname because it's the first 2 letters of the first name and then the last 2 letters of the last name. See? CC. Oh, I like CC. CC works. So yeah, you say, okay, we need to find CC. Cornelia Korn. Ooh. I need a verb beginning with C. I don't know. That'll do. Basically, if you want the key to deactivate Metal Gear, and stop the nuclear launch that is apparently going to happen quickly. yes, if you want to find that, you need to find her. And you're like, okay, we need to find her. Did she have a codec? And he goes, yes. Okay, what's her number? Because if you recall on our codec, if you type in a specific number, you can contact a specific person. Everybody has their own number. And he goes, okay, her number is... Did you know what? I forgot. He just forgets. So you're right. Okay, well, we'll find out some way, I guess. Cheers for your help. Do you reckon you can walk? And he goes, no, I'm old and I've just been exploded. You're like, okay, well, stay here. I need to sort out the terrorists first. Make sure you stay safe, and then everything will be fine. Little bonfire. Look, he's old. An old fella. Look at the liver spots and everything. He's old, let him go, it's fine. He's got jowls and the liver spots and all these things. What does a skull look like? I don't know. This is supposed to be in perspective, but it's difficult to do that when you don't have eyes. I've drawn M enough times to know that. Anyway, long story short, it is approximately at this point in the conversation that our friend here has a heart attack and dies. The tiny head as well. Always zoom out when you're drawing, or at least when you're trying to get the general look of it. You hate when that happens. I know. You try and secure the safety of a hostage, and then they have a heart attack and die. Twice in one day. Who'd have thought? See, when trying to augment a previous drawing, it takes far longer because I've got to mess around with stuff I've already drawn incorrectly. His hand's actually about here, it's fine. But got a long coat. During this, he screams something along the lines of, "Colonel Cobb, you bastard. They did it. They really did it." And then he dies. It's at this point you probably wish to, Oh, you can you can hear where the loop in that music is. That wasn't very well done. At some point you just stop trying to save people. Yeah, I mean that's two hostages so far dead. 2 out of 2. It's a good hit rate. I mean we were supposed to save them, but sure. You take silver linings where you can find them. So now you decide to phone up your commander-in-chief. Oops, and say, excuse me, but I've just met the other hostage, and he died of a heart attack. Is this sounding a bit familiar? Do you know anything about this? He did shout your name as he was dying. Bit of a problem. Little bit conspicuous. Any explanation that might come to mind? To which Colonel Cobb goes, I haven't got the foggiest. Not a clue. And then you go, well, okay, do you have any explanation as to why the Metal Gear project was being revived? And you apparently didn't know anything about this when you sent me here. He goes a bit quiet at this point. And you go, right, okay, so you know about the Metal Gear project. Well, Noodle Gear, sorry. Noodle's just so handsome that everyone who stays near him for too long dies on the spot. I know, it's envy. Death by envy, it's terrible. Speaking of which, hang on. Oh no, I did. Oh. Thought I forgot the tassels there for a second. Cool. Whew. Narrowly avoided disaster. So it's like, okay. So you knew the Noodle Gear project had been revived. You didn't tell me. Who knows? Does the president know that it's here? To which Colonel Korn goes, nope. The president doesn't know because he's all about nuclear disarmament and trying to show to the world, hey, look, we can be friends with the Russians, don't worry about it. We'll give up nuclear weapons if you do. If he knew that we were developing a new nuclear thing, he probably wouldn't be too happy, so we haven't told him. So what we have now is a situation where the terrorists have taken over a nuclear facility that the president doesn't even know about and is trying to, I guess, blackmail? As well as threaten to launch a nuclear weapon? It's a strange situation. Sounds like the American government, alright. There was an episode of Buck Rogers like this, wasn't there? Anyway, it's literally the only episode I've seen. It's so cheesy, I love it. So yeah. This thing, I was going to say it goes all the way to the top, but it literally doesn't. It stops before it gets there. So it's a very secret hush-hush thing that is probably going to become quite public soon if we don't sort things out, which is why we've been sent in, to basically hush things up. So that's good. But for now, let's just focus on the important thing. Stop nuclear bombs being launched. Because at this point, we had two objectives. Find out if the nukes could be launched and save the hostages. At this point, both the hostages are dead, and they can launch nukes. So our objective now, stop them. We need to find these card keys, and we know that the card keys are in the possession of Cece. And we need to find Cece, but we don't know her phone number. Because that is obviously the most important thing going on here. There may be various ways that we could generally get in contact with them. We may be able to work out who they are from their gait. We know that's distinctive. But for now, we need to work out roughly where in the facility they are. So we need to get in contact with them. And Colonel Korn says that I don't know the number explicitly. Check the back of the box. That might be able to give you the answer. And you're like, okay, sure. And then you've stopped the phone call. And then if you phone him up again, he says, yeah, find the number. It's on the back of the box. Cool. Now, this is where young Crispy spent a lot of time wandering around the world looking for a box with a number on the back. We have a box, if you recall. We picked up a box. Where did we pick up a box? I may have moved things in the wrong place. We had a box somewhere. There is a box. Boxes happened. Hello, how you doing? Yeah, so we need to find the number of CC on the back of the box. He doesn't specify which box. This is probably... Yeah, I also had to be told this. This is probably why Metal Gear Solid hasn't been ported to Steam or anything. Because it'll probably be too expensive to, you know, revoice this line or something like that. In order to find CC's phone number, you have to check the back of the CD case that the game comes in. There's a screenshot of the game in which Noodle and CC are having a conversation and you can get her phone number from that. That's what he meant by look on the back of the box. Just include an art book with it? Yeah, possibly. They put the code in the back of the game, in rental places at least. That's fair enough. Yes, this is our first instance of Hideo Kojima going, I suppose literally, let's make our players think outside the box. They put the code on the back of the game, and that's where you're supposed to look. I didn't work that out. You quite like. It's a neat idea, but it confused young me. That's for sure. So you look on the back of the CD case. Let's draw that. Why not? I think it's very important to the history of Metal Gear Solid, Noodle Gear Solid. I think I accidentally deleted the layer with the box and the ladle on. It's a shame. Can I save this as 2? Maybe I can. Probably. Yes, you would never figure that out. I know, it's one of those things, isn't it? I had hard enough trouble with a boss in Lords of the Fallen the other day, and that has a note in the world explaining how to do it. Unfortunately, I missed it. So yeah, Noodle disapparates from the fake world of the game and appears in your bedroom while you're playing this, and decides to read the back of the CD case that the box comes in. Do I have the CD somewhere? I might take a photo of it after the stream. I think I've got it. The original PS1. Chunky old box. There were 2 CDs, obviously. This is a long game. Especially for the day. Not the box! Pretty sure you still have it too? I think our discs are scratched, so I can't play it anymore, unfortunately. But I did play a lot of Twin Snakes, which is the remake for the GameCube. I assume they pulled the same stunt there, because you still had a box. Difficult to do that on digital distribution platforms, but... And you got the Special Missions disc as well. Ooh. I don't recall ever playing those, but... This is making me want to play the game. I also apologise for the inconsistency of the number of fingers the characters seem to have. I'm giving... Usually Noodle is having 3 fingers. Maybe we can make that into a thing, who knows, because Bullet Ant definitely had 4. Inconsistencies in the art style. I mean, if that's your only problem with what I'm drawing, I'm doing pretty well. Got to play a sword boy. Ooh. Because of the nano machines. They ruin everything. They give us the ability to see in radar, but they ruin it. And phone people up, but as soon as you want to phone someone up you don't know, you've got to leave the world. That's chunky boots. Chunky boots. Chunky boots. Don't worry about the anatomy, it's fine. Everything's grand. How do hands work? They don't work, hands are a myth. Fair enough. I'll take that. It's a conspiracy. We know eyes are a conspiracy at this point. Only those with top secret clearance can get rid of theirs.
No. 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 Fuck your scoops.
Oh, the pause is wonderful. You don't need a scoop, you just need to sort of not have them anymore. It's like flying, isn't it? With in the Hitchhiker's Guide books. Is you don't fly by trying to fly. You just fly by falling and then missing the floor. It's the same with eyes. You don't get rid of your eyes, you just stop having eyes. It's fine. Oh, Miss said scoop. Oh, it's fine, don't worry. Miss's fault. I have my foot sideways, I don't know why. Anyway, these are all important details. Oh, there's the loop again. It's also important that this is played on a CRT. It's also quite short. So we procure the phone number of Cece through means canonically unknown. And phone her up. So now I have to phone up Cece, which means I need to draw Cece. So let's do that. Boop, boop. So you ring the number that's on the back of the box. And perhaps on... Oh, no, hang on. Let's get this right. And you are met with a balaclavaed person. I don't know what military clothing looks like. And you say, sorry, this might be the wrong number. I apologize. I got this through unusual means. But if Cece's there, do you mind putting her on the phone? To which the balaclavaed respondent says, how do you know my name? It's like, oh yeah, oh, that's you're Cece, fantastic. I know your uncle. He's the reason I'm here. And she goes, you're the one from the prison cell. And you say, yes, that is indeed the case. I know your name. My name is, for the purposes of this particular transaction, my name is Noodle Lobox. And she goes, not the Noodle Lobox. And then she takes off the balaclava. So let's grab that. The Noodle Lobox, yes. Let's redraw this excellent form. Everyone's gonna have a high collar in this, it's fine. How many noodle boxes do you think exist? I mean, it's, you know, in certain parts of the world it might be quite a common name. He's quite pleased to hear from you, which is also kind of cocky. Also, if this is supposed to be accurate, it probably should be like up there somewhere. Anyway, yeah, so she begins fawning over you in a sense. She, oh, you're the Noodle Gear Solid. I've heard so much about you. You're a famous person in the circles of people who have heard about you. You have done so many things. Wow. I get to meet the actual Noodle. The legit Noodle. This is a big thing. And you're like, look, I'm nothing special. Just we're in a bit of a predicament, what with terrorists and nuclear bombs. We can leave this till later, okay? To which she goes, I mean, you know, you're famous hero, you could probably do everything yourself. And you're like, look, I'm not a hero, I'm a soldier for hire, it doesn't matter. So you spend a lot of time trying to dissuade her that you're not fantastic. But at the same time being cocky enough to realise that she probably will continue thinking you're fantastic. Let's look at... things, accoutrement. Again, military uniforms. What's that, camouflage or something? Snow camouflage. What was I saying? So yeah, she gets very enthusiastic and so on and so forth, and you say, look, apparently you were given the key, or the key cards, required to deactivate Noodle Gear. And she says, well, I was given one by Carl. I need to look up military uniforms. I don't know. She's drawn a suit. She's wearing a suit, a camouflage suit. Why not? Oh, that's good. We'll make it puffy. It's Alaska. Gotta have some sort of warmth. A gill suit. No, that was what we scuba dived in. So yeah, she says, yes, I've got a key card. If you want more, I don't know where the rest of them are, but I do have one. That was given to me by Carl. And he goes, right, fantastic, I need that. And then I'm going to get on with the job of sorting this out. And she's like, well, I'm going to come along too. I'm not missing this opportunity to get stuck in. And you're like, no, I think you'll find the last time we met, you had never killed anyone before, and you went absolutely ballistic at the first time of doing it and killed loads of people in one go without really realising what you're doing. You're probably not the sort of person I need hanging around me. While I'm trying to be all tactical and stealthy and taking people out quietly. Now she's a cold-blooded murderer. Yeah, pretty much. Those people were going to shoot us, though, so it's not too bad. So she's a cold-blooded self-defenser. Mini beef. Which is warm-blooded. I mean, you know, she's got a fluffy coat. She's jittery, yes. She's a novice. She's not the sort of person who needs to be slowing you down and compromising your very carefully planned out details of running around in cardboard boxes. So, you attempt to dissuade her from this, and she says, no, I'm doing whatever, I have the key card. I'm in control here. I will come along with you. But we're in different buildings now. I had to run away and hide, and I'm currently surrounded by lots of other soldiers. I've got a brief moment of privacy, but I do have to go soon. You're going to have to come to me, because I can't really get away without being suspicious. I think. I'm probably making this up. But this is generally the kind of next step of the process anyway. So, yeah, she says, right, okay, you can come and find me. You need to leave through the building that you're in, get back up to the ground floor, leave through the back entrance. There's a snowfield and then another building. I'm in there. Luckily, there's a bunch of tall guards to blend in with. Yes, so many. It's a wonderful coincidence. It's the genetic therapy. Not therapy. What's the word I'm looking for? Genetic alteration. Manipulation. Whatever. Squad Longboy, yes. There's very high ceilings in that part of the building, so we have to go there. Genome cell, yes, but it's genetic augmentation, whatever. I don't. Varlan will tell us. So yes, we try and make our way there, but we find out. So the last thing I need to draw for today. She says that she'll open the door for us, which is lovely, because previously that door had been closed. So we go up and we go to where the door is. Whoops, I appear to have moved to the background somehow.
That wasn't necessary of you, but you have my thanks.
The Lizard King at 23, thank you very much for following. I hope any of this makes sense. Hang on, I've moved it along now. Has everything moved, or was it just that? Well, looks about right. Thank you. What was that? That's lightning drink. Ooh. Thank you very much. Haven't seen that one before. And then a coffee. Yay. Energy. So you open the doors. The door's open for you. It's a big old door. And as you get near it, it opens. Or I think you might have to phone her up to open it, or whatever. Either way, Cece's helping you at this point. Any chance to help out the legendary noodle? This is not how perspective works. Don't worry about it. It's all fine. Boom. It's Sunlight Blade for a new generation. Oh, is there an energy drink called, like, Sunlight Blade or something like that? Sounds about right. This is right next to the lift. The lift is here. Oop. That's how it happened. So, you know, it's convenient. You don't have to go stealthing around too many places. Just need to get back out. Avoid the pits and such. I don't know why I drew that, because I've got to draw... But actually, I can draw you. Always down to help a legendary noodle, absolutely. So you walk in to this sort of antechamber, as it were. This militaristic porch between the snowfields that you've been told about and the exit, or the building that you're in. And just as you're walking through, just as you're walking through, you get a phone call saying, "Oh wait, be careful." This is from Cece, I think. Maybe. There is at least one more phone call very soon from the person who I suspect may be actually doing this phone call, or someone. Yeah, but I can fit that in. That's fine. So for the purposes of this, let's just say it's Cece. And she says, "Oh, by the way, yeah, that room I've just opened up, full of lasers. Lots of lasers, very terrible time. And if you go through the lasers, I think like gas comes out or something, and you die, most likely. Yeah, have fun. Pew, and then it turns off. So very helpful. So you need to find some way around the lasers. We'll just finish up in this building, this stream. So how do you reckon you get past the lasers, given the things at our disposal? Dentistry work going on there? Box. The box will trip the laser, unfortunately, just as much as humans will. Or your body, or whatever. Did I ever mention one of my favourite things about my bot is that it tells me when people join the stream and it tells me when people leave. So I can see people join and then 30 seconds later go, yeah, no, and then leave. It's wonderful. How do you draw somebody just sort of standing normally? That'd be... That's good, because it's like... It's kind of it's easy to develop an ego with this sort of thing. Oh, look, people are listening to me, and what I'm saying is interesting to them, and I'm entertaining, and so on and so forth. It's nice to just understand how many people don't think that way, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm not that. What is this? And then you get stuff like this, where you're like, yeah, can't get an ego about that. Oh dear. A time for the game to show you the perils of smoking. Indeed, yes. So your solution. Thank you for the aggressive compliments. I'm liking this new confident Kiro. It's good. Hello. You're now functional enough to be with friends. Marvelous. Alas, the stream will not last particularly much longer. Much has happened involving strange ninjas and people with too fewer hands. You'll fight with hugs. That's sumo wrestling, isn't it? But anyway, yes. Having smuggled in a packet of cigarettes in your stomach, because that's the sort of thing your character does, they realise that by wafting that smoke around, the I should point out that sort of things on the wall that sort of have boxes. It reveals the location of the lasers, which can now be seen in the haze. Alls. Of no perspective. And then you just do a bit of crawling and walking around, and you make your way out and you're fine. But yeah. Smoke, kids, it's good for you. Don't do that. Very silly idea. There's also an infrared visor you can find, but cigarettes work. Yes, is it a thermal sensor or something like that? There is a way of seeing that doesn't require the cigarettes, but the cigarettes are a way of you not having to hunt for this thing like you spent the last 2 hours trying to work out where on earth the code on the back of the box was. So yeah, it's nice they put these convenient things in the game. Sometimes. So yeah, you have a quick smoke and it reveals the lasers, and you work your way out of the lasers. And then you go to the snowfield. And that is where we shall end for this evening. Sorry, Chris. That's marginally better. Wonderful tangents. Everybody loves. It's not tangents that are really the problem. It's I suppose you can call them tangent. Sort of intersecting. Yeah, we'll call them tangents for now. Doesn't matter. Fries needed the salt. I am a fan of salt. And given my experience with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, I have plenty of. So yeah, that's what happened. Just as a quick overview, there was this, then 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 there was this, and we're cool. Oh, and also a chat with CC. And that's going to be it for the day. So yes, let's flip to there. That all checks out. Yep. That's the summary. I have summarized the story so far about 5 times this stream for various reasons, but I am very grateful for the raid slash host, whatever it is. It was very kind. Obviously, me being me, I have completely forgotten who it was who did it. Let me scroll up. No, it's gone out of chat. That's already been buried. That's a shame. I should have Streamlabs open in order to properly thank people. Yes. Oh, come on, stream. No. No, my chat. No, my chat is exploding. Thank you very much for the rock. And thank you everyone for coming along. I'm glad we can sort this out in such a way that a weird thing happens every stream, because this game has a lot of weird things. So far, we've managed to keep it up. The first episode was easy, just introducing the game is weird enough. But yeah, let's see if we can keep up that momentum. If at this rate, there's not. I don't know how many streams this is going to last. It's going to be quicker than Final Fantasy VII, that's for sure. But yeah, I reckon. I don't know, like 12, 15. Gift GIF. I have the approval. Thank you very much. So yeah, plenty of weird things to come. You just wait till the first thing I have to draw next week. And then the second thing I have to draw next week. Oh dear. Fun times ahead. We probably won't get to the next weird thing. But then we can start that off on stream 5, I guess. Thank you for coming along. These are always so weird. And good fun. It's the next call is super easy. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Is it? Or shall I go in hyper detail? I think there's an option in Clip Studio that can help me. But anyway. That's next week. Tomorrow, Bloodborne. We're playing Bloodborne. We are continuing with the Bloodborns. There it is. What are we doing there? We probably investigate the tonsil stone. Probably what we have to do. I don't know where yesterday went. I felt like I streamed yesterday and I didn't. Fun and weird is good. That's why I try and... That's what I like about these streams, because they never end up being a straightforward retelling of the game. Always ends up being a small farting C4 on somebody's head. That good blood, yes. The good blood and the bad blood. Fear the old blood. Yeah, so we're going to be investigating the other side of the big church in which we fought.
Necessary of you, but you have my thanks.
Carrington TV, thank you very much for following. That's very kind of you. Yes, so we're going to play Bloodborne tomorrow. Investigate the other side of the cathedral. And get to see some weird stuff. Things are going to start getting properly weird now. They're already kind of weird. I mean, we've seen the blue aliens, so you're getting a taste of the weird in the game. Then on Saturday, we will do... Finally, I need to prepare for it, but we will do a Fool's AU. I know it's been a while, and I know I've been saying we should do it for 3 weeks, but we will do it. Many-legged friend time? I mean, there are going to be several many-legged friend times. Not all of which are spider-esque, but it depends on your outlook, I guess. So, yes, Fool's AU. Yes, I need to prepare for that and draw all the little doodles for the bosses. Yeah. It's going to be... I want to kind of avoid spoilers, because it's a thing that could be quite easily spoiled. But the whole point of it is to take bosses out of context, so it should be fine. Yeah, we're going to do one like the Dark Souls 2 one, so I've got to draw all the bosses again, and we'll write our own story. So have a wonderful time, everybody. Thank you for helping me have a wonderful time here for the last 2 hours. And, yeah. Enjoy yourself. Look out for weird people with swords who will cut off your hand if you're shooting somebody between wires that are strapping somebody up to explosives while somebody with a sock is trying to take you down. It's an unlikely scenario, but look out for it. Have a wonderful time, everyone. Goodbye.